The NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series is heading back to the big tracks. It is the Bear 400 here at Brooklands Outer Circuit. Hello everybody, my name is Colin Dent and I'll be on the call today for RVN. If we take a look at the top 10 in standings, Paul Brenner still running away with it, Barry Goldberg just behind him. Rampage, John Green, and Andrew Rich round out the top 5, and those three are looking for a win in the series to get eligible for the chase. Speaking of winners, here is where the winners stand right now. You can see Paul Brenner and Barry Goldberg topping the list. Reese Butcher and Marty Johnson low down there, and they need to stay in the top 35 to be eligible for the chase. We take a look at an aerial shot of this track. It's a bit awkwardly shaped, a little bit like a bean, and you got to navigate that kink in the backstretch. If we take a look at our starting order, KDude124 in the number 77 YouTube Chevrolet is on the pole and is already eligible for the Wendy's Unlimited in February, as this is his second pole of the season. Andrew Rich in the number 23 Old Spice Toyota on the outside. On the second row, John Arndt and James McDaniel in the third row. Eric Van Arsdale and Zach Campbell in the fourth row. Grayson Acevedo and Tyrone Kingston in the fifth row. Emmett Juckham and Pat Hayes in the sixth row. Matt Johnson and Rampage. In the seventh row, Dejon Weeks and The Flash. In the eighth row, Dexter Black and Marty Johnson. In the ninth row, Paul Brenner and T-Love 48 Man. And in the 10th row, Dale Jr. Dude 88 and Johnny Gardner. A quick flash by of the rest of the order. These guys, you can see they're going a little bit uphill on the back side of this backstretch. And as we are heading into turn number 3, let's take a look at our Hardy's Hot Seat winner for this week, Tyler Markell, who had the pole last week. He's starting in the back today, but you can see he's been putting up some very consistent finishes, all in the top 15 to top 10 finishes in that collection at Meadowlands and Hattiesburg. Coming here to Brooklands, he's going to be battling his way up front if he wants to maintain his spot toward the top of the standings. Of course, a win would give him a guaranteed spot in the chase. As the pace car heads in, they come down the long front stretch, and the green flag flies, and we are racing here at Brooklands. KDude124 takes off, and Andrew Rich is left in the dust. Arndt is going underneath him. They're scattering 3 wide already. You can see various moves being made. Acevedo's trying to make a move on Rich. Coming through the kink. You can see they very rarely slow down on their speed. They come through very fast. As they come through the far turn, Noah Cars, I believe, he's actually made a very big move. I believe he was starting way in the back, all the way in 37th position. You can see he's already trying to work his way up, and he's nearly cracking the 20s in there. KD124 leads that first lap. He's had to battle some adversity this season as he runs 40th position in the standings. Of course, a win would be a nice way to give him some confidence, but of course he's going to have to stay in the top 35 if he wants it to count. John Arndt, who is running in 8th position in the standings, is looking to close that gap and get a win for himself to make sure that guaranteed spot is his. Taking a look from the bridge cam. Several bridges across this track. Gives fans the opportunity to make their way to the infield. Tyler Markell still battling in the very back spot, and you can see, oh man, he has had to check up a little bit. A lot of it, actually. He's still trying to make his way around these guys who are coming slow out of the corners. He looks like he has a decently fast car, so you can see he blows right by Alexander Miller. Another one of those guys that is also running far up in the points, and he needs to make his way up as well. The cars come through the kink. Now let's take a look at our bubble drivers as we're mentioning it right now. In third place, Rampage, currently in the 20th position in this race. He's running the middle of the pack. He's looking to keep himself very consistent. If we look a little bit further back in the field, there is John Green. He is 4th place in the points, and he is 33 points back. So he's got some points to make up on Rampage if they're going for a bubble spot. The gap is definitely increasing as these guys file out in single file. Andrew Rich, though, 5th place in the standings, but currently running in the 3rd position. He is probably in the best position to make a big move on the points leader, Paul Brenner, as he battles and tries to get away from these leaders. Of course, we talked about Tyler Markell. He's currently 7th place in the standings, 42 points back, but running the 41st position is not going to help his case at all. He has got a long way to battle up to the front. John Arndt, just in front of Andrew Rich, running the 2nd position, 8th place in points, 43 points back. And of course, having these guys right here to get a win, it's what they're going for. They might be aggressive to do it. Alexander Miller, running the 9th place in the standings, currently 45 points back, but now he has lost all ground. Currently running in the 42nd position, just behind Tyler Markell, who is someone he needs to battle for the points. NASCAR Fan 1418, who had a big fallout after last week, currently running in the 24th position, which is a place behind John Green. He obviously needs to make some points up after that poor finish last week at Hattiesburg. And as they come through down the front stretch, they complete lap number 6, and we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more racing action in the NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series.
Look at Kyle Busch out there.
Yeah, he is all over the track.
I mean, what has gotten into him today?
Oh, that cannot be good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Whoa, look out.
Wait a minute. Is Kyle in reverse?
Yeah, you don't see that every day. Okay, that is bad,
man.
bad driving.
Oh, this is not like Kyle at all.
Are we winning?
I thought you were looking.
M&M's makes race day more fun.
What is Kyle thinking?
We are back here at Brooklands for the 8th race of the NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series season. And as some of these guys seem to take the low line on this turn 3 groove, it looks like we might have some takers on pit road this time around. And we indeed do. As you can see, KD124 continues to move on. In fact, the majority of the field has moved on. Meanwhile, these guys in the on pit lane right now, it's a limited number of them, but they have elected to come in on lap number 10. Noah Cars, we've seen him move up the field quite a bit. Will coming down pit lane early be a benefit to him? We will find out. But he has definitely been making his way up the pack. Further up the leaderboard, Eric Van Arsdale, he was running up in the top 10 area. Now he's looking to put his mark on the season as he pulls off pit lane. He's going to beat out Dejon Weeks. And here comes the rest of the field down for their pit stops. And this is going to be everyone else that did not pit. It doesn't look like anyone's going to stay out this point. You can tell based on where they're pitting, it's going to be a close one on gasoline. They just might have enough time to make it if they keep up the pace that they're at. They would probably be at lap number 40 on their gas, but of course that lap does not exist. We are only running 39 laps. K-Dude124, Andrew Rich, John Arndt, James McDaniel all going for the 4-tire stop. Going to fill up the tank and they will go off. KD 124 still beats him out. Eric Van Arsdale and Dejan Weeks are both charging up the front stretch. You can see there's actually a battle off pit lane as John Arndt and Grayson Acevedo are trying to get around each other. Looks like Arndt came out with that. But Arsdale and Weeks are coming through, and they're coming out the outside. And KD 124, who led the whole first part of that race, is now being taken over by Van Arsdale, who pitted a lap early. And Dejan Weeks is going to take the second place as well. Big pit strategy move, and it looks like they've even lost third place. Meanwhile, Acevedo makes a big move to the outside, and now KD 124 has lost all that ground he worked to pick up in the first 10 laps of this race. Van Arsdale, Weeks, and Campbell make up your top three. Big pit strategy move right there. It looks like if you can get on pit lane early, you have an opportunity to slingshot around the people in front of you. Of course, that does come at the risk of a lower pit window. We're going to be right back after another quick commercial break, and we will come back and reset the field.
It's Denny time.
You drive like my mom.
Dinner's ready.
What would you do with your favorite driver? Enter your design at toyotaracing.com.
Welcome back to NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series racing action here at Brooklands. If you're just tuning in, you've just missed a big move for the lead by Van Arsdale, and it came off of the track and more on pit road. As the leaders took to pit road, Van Arsdale and Weeks and Campbell all pitted a lap early and then made a big move off the front stretch and across turn number 1 and 2 to take the lead away from the people that have been dominating the race so far. Noah Cars, we talked about him. He is now running in the 9th position. And you can see Acevedo is trying to make a move to the outside of Campbell, and he touches him, and he slows down as the field goes by him. He had just taken 4th place away from some of those guys coming off a pit lane, and now he's made contact with Campbell as he tries to make a move. Now he's going to the inside of Arndt. He's going to take that spot back, but man, that was a big, risky move that did not pay off for him. Paul Brenner leading the point standings. He's running in the top 10 now, and now he's trying to make a move to Arndt. He's not able to pull that one off. Taking a look back, some more battling going down in the back of the field. You can see Tyrone Kingston and Pat Hayes in that shot. The first part of that race, we saw a lot of single file racing, and now we're seeing a lot more jostling for position. And it looks like Rampage tried to do the same move that Acevedo did, and he is falling back now as he makes contact with McDaniel. He has lost at least 3 spots off of that. He might lose a 4th. And there it goes. It looks like Conrad Cooper goes to the inside of him. The outside is proving costly for the people coming off of turn number 4. Just a move that's not being made by anybody. And it's going to be costly for our top bubble position driver, Rampage. He has fallen back after that round of pit stops, and he is not in a good position right now. You can see as we come back toward turn number 4, and it looks like the same thing has happened to Carson Scott and John Green, who's behind Rampage in the point standings. He has been caught up in that. And Dale Jr. Dude 88 makes a big move to the outside, although he might get trapped behind them. Harry Sauer and Josh Harris are now jostling for position. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Van Arsdale and Weeks still pulling away from the entire field. But we're getting close to that pit window. Weeks heading to the outside. And oh my goodness, and he touches! And Van Arsdale has gone onto the fence! And Jochum has been collected! And he spins in front of the field. Is he going to collect anybody else? And it looks like everyone dodged it. Oh my goodness, what a huge accident as Van Arsdale gets turned around by Weeks. It looks like Weeks might have been making a move to pit road, but that was not the lane you wanted to have. He comes down, sweeps Van Arsdale at the back bumper. Yeah, you can see Weeks is trying to make a move to pit lane. It's not going to work, and Van Arsdale hits the bricks. And the way this banking is, it's definitely going to swerve you up onto the fence, and Jochum comes in and gets pounded. And then somehow everybody manages to miss it from there. Take a look from Jochum's view. In slow motion, you can see Van Arsdale coming down and bam, hits the windshield. And he has not been running well in the points either. This could have been a great day for him. Now he's going to drop from his 37th position standing. John Arndt, you can see he's just behind this one, and he makes a swerve move to avoid the accident in front of him, and now he's going to be running in the second position. The field's coming down pit lane. Now, something to note, though, Weeks and as well as Zach Campbell came down the pit lane after the accident occurred. Supposedly, the pit lane should be closed at that point, but they still stopped and made service anyway. Paul Brenner leading the standings. He's been running up in the top 10 as of late. He's going to make a 4-tire stop, fill it up with fuel. As the field starts to go by him. You can see right there, there goes Weeks and Campbell, who have apparently made their pit service already. But the pit lane should have been closed. K-Dude124 wins the race off pit lane, and Noah Cars, he is still battling his way up in position. He's having a phenomenal day so far. Well, this is a very odd situation, and we're going to have to sort it all out eventually. But we are going to head to another commercial break, and we will be right back to figure out what is going on here at Brooklands Outer Circuit. We're going to take another quick replay look. Look at this wall cam as we head to commercial break. We'll be right back.
People know me as Dale Earnhardt Jr. race car driver, but there's more to me than that. At my office, they call me Boss Man. I scout the talent, close the deals, do it all with a firm handshake. Gentlemen, to others, I'm Water Cooler Dale. So I got this new chair, I had it for a couple weeks. Somebody keeps lowering it. God dang it. I mean, I reset it to where I want it, and I go back to my office, and I sit down, and it's lower. No, someone's lowering it. For protecting my small business and more, Nationwide is on your side. People know me as Dale Earnhardt Jr. race car driver, but there's more to me than that. At my office, they call me Boss Man. I scout the talent, close the deals, do it all with a firm handshake. Gentlemen, to others, I'm Water Cooler Dale. So I got this new chair, I had it for a couple weeks. Somebody keeps lowering it. God dang it. I mean, I reset it to where I want it, and I go back to my office, and I sit down, and it's lower. No, someone's lowering it. For protecting my small business and more, Nationwide is on your side.
Welcome back to Brooklands Outer Circuit, a strange turn of events here in the NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series as the current leader, Dejan Weeks, spins and turns Eric Van Arsdale into the wall, sending him flying. The catch fence just keeps him inside the track boundaries, but of course he comes down and collects Emmett Juckham. Both have been declared out for this race. And now as they come down the front stretch, we haven't heard any penalties announced so far for the cars of Weeks and Campbell, who both made a pit stop supposedly under a closed pit road. As the cars take off, they're looking to get more position and see what they can do while the cars are still packed together. They might file out in the single file. Cars is making an aggressive move, and he's trying to get his position as far up as he can. He's now running in third position. KD124 has lost the third position. You can see there's a battle between Acevedo, Harris, and John Green, who's currently doing pretty well. And Harris is slowed down, and just as I say that, John Green gets collected again. I believe that's the second time he's been held up by someone who couldn't get off turn 4 correctly. Harry Sauer is trying to make a move and take advantage of that, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to get past them. But he has just had a terrible luck of a day trying to get around people that can't get around turn number 4. If we go a little bit further back the field, there is Tyler Markell, who has been making his way up very well from starting in last place, and he's trying to gain as much ground and get as many points as he can out of this race. He just might have a chance to get himself a top 10 if he keeps up at this pace. Of course, he's still running somewhere in the teens, but he's picking himself up well. Dejon Weeks has not pitted yet, neither has Zach Campbell. They have seemed to run away from this supposed penalty they should have gotten. We take another look at this at full speed. There's the accident in the background, and there's the red flag. That signifies pit road is closed, and that commitment line is not until right there where Dejon Weeks just passed. And Zach Campbell obviously came down way after it as well. There's Van Arsdale, and he's obviously dropping out of the race, but somehow Weeks and Campbell have just dodged a penalty on pit road. Unusual situation here at Brooklands, but we're going to take another quick commercial break, and we'll be right back for the conclusion of the Bear 400. Welcome back to Brooklands Outer Circuit for the Bear 400. In the NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series, the leaders are taking their pit stop. Dejon Weeks and Zach Campbell among them. We've talked about how they haven't gotten a penalty from their pit stop after the accident. As we hit lap number 30, it looks like everyone's going to be safe on fuel. KD124, Nick Smith, Pat Hayes, Tyler Markell among those who decided to come down a lap later. You can see the field coming down. Several cars making 4-tire stops. They're going to get themselves ready for the last run of the race, so long as we stay under green flag for the remainder of it. Dejon Weeks wins the battle off of pit road. So we'll have to see what occurs now. Can he get around K-Dude 124 after making that early pit stop? Number 77 comes down and enters his pit stall. We've talked about him running in the 41st position in the standings. Of course, a win would be a nice confidence booster, but he's got to get himself in the top 35, which, based on where all of these guys are grouped at in the standings, he could easily jump that for. The difference between 35th and 41st is only 7 points. He gets enough of a run on all these guys. It's an easy accomplishment for him. But here comes those early pit stop takers. Looking from the back of K-Dude 124, and it looks like Weeks and Campbell are both going to blow by the number 77 car. Noah Cars still running a solid position. Now he's in second place. How in the world did he get into that position? Let's take a look as he came off pit lane. He's currently in the 4th position as he runs right here. And then he sweeps around Andrew Rich coming off pit lane. Makes a legal merge. Suddenly he's in 3rd place, but he's got to get in 2nd somehow and get right on the bumper of Dejon Weeks. Here comes Zach Campbell, and he just blows right by him on the outside. We're talking about Noah Cars, who started 37th place in this race. He has now made himself a 2nd place run. He is looking to take the victory. He's currently running 38th place in the standings. But of course, we just talked about how small that differential is. He can obviously get himself up there. Dejon Weeks is also running in a very low position. He's in 36th place. So these are big moves for guys that have run so far down in the standings. The field flashing by from the bottom, Marty Johnson. He's someone who's already won a race so far. He won last week at Hattiesburg, but he is currently running so far back. Rampage, the bubble driver, is behind him. At this point, you're kind of taking your losses as you get them because no more pit stops to be made, no more position to be gained on those stops. You've just got to work your way up across as many people as you can right here, right now. But it's definitely not going to get you in a position to win, because Weeks and Cars have just pulling away by half a track length over both of those guys. Cars is taking the draft off of Weeks and looking any possible way he can get around him. You can see he's making a move to the outside. Noah Cars trying to make a move to the lead. And can he pull it off right here through the kink? He cannot. Too much speed lost as he went through the kink in the backstretch. The inside line just proving not to be able to do it. He's going to have to make a move somewhere else on the course. We've seen turn number 1 has been a nice propeller for several of these guys to make passes. If he can make his way down there, he can have an opportunity to take the lead away from Weeks. Andrew Rich running in 5th position. John Green just behind him. 2 bubble drivers looking to make their way and get that spot from Rampage, who is currently running far back in the field. Obviously, both of these guys could take it away. It looks more likely that John Green would take it away based on him being 3 points in front of Rich. As they come off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch, we're looking at 4 laps to go here at Brooklands. Car's still running single file. We're going to see what happens right here. Noah Cars is trying to make another move toward the inside line. He pulls back in line behind Weeks. That run was just not as good as his previous one. Of course, it didn't work out as well. Tyler Markell, he's been putting up a solid run. You saw him flash by just off of that kink, and he has been putting up a run that is one to remember. He's currently running in the 12th position. That's going to fare well with his 7th place standings position. I believe Harrison Butt has made another mistake off of turn number 4. Johnson and Rampage both make a move across that. Take advantage of it. Now Cars is looking to the outside of Dejan Weeks. But is it going to be costly? We've seen what happens to these guys off of turn number 4. He slows down and he has lost position. Noah Cars loses spots to Zach Campbell and Josh Harris as he tries to run the outside line off of turn number 4. And Dejan Weeks has taken an extensive lead on the rest of the field. Five cars charging from the back, but he possibly has the power to get there. Josh Harris tries to make a move to the inside of Zach Campbell, and they can't make it stick. Something about that inside line. They're not able to get the grip they need to stay on pace and make the moves that they need to make. Now Josh Harris looking to get to the outside of Campbell. Is that going to be a costly mistake? It is. And Noah Cars gets part of it. And Rich is going to go under both of them as they take the white flag. Andrew Rich is past Noah Cars. He tries to make a move on Harris. And he gets the spot. Rich propels himself into 3rd place while John Green stays back in 6th place. Now this gives him an opportunity to have possibly a tie in the front of the bubble spot space. Meanwhile, Dejan Weeks still running for his life on this white flag. Half a lap to go. He can get himself a first-time win and put himself into the chase as he comes under the bridge in turn number 4. Onto the front stretch, Dejan Weeks coming down and taking the win here at Brooklands for race number 8 of the NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series. And Noah Cars lost even more spots. He must have gone to the outside line off of turn number 4. He's now back to 8th place. Meanwhile, Josh Harris did manage to get that spot back from Andrew Rich, but what a wild ride here at Brooklands. Several different passes being made, an unexpected winner. If we take a look at our finishing order, Dejan Weeks takes the win. KD 124, the pole sitter who had a dominating run in the first part of the race, finishes 9th. Tyler Markell makes a huge run from the last starting spot to finish 12th. Meanwhile, further down the field, you can see Rampage John Arndt did not have good days. Eric Van Arsdale and Emmett Juckham both crashing out in the 20th lap of the race. So that puts John Green and Andrew Rich on top of the leaderboard. Rampage falls back to 7th place after that poor finish. And we've got 4 guys that have won races sitting on the top 10. Meanwhile, Marty Johnson has fallen out of chase eligibility. He has his chance to get back up in the top 35, but he's going to have to battle his way and have some good finishes throughout. Dan Bandon, Dejan Weeks, Reese Butcher running in the 20s. Well, that is going to do it for us here at Brooklands. Thank you all for tuning in to RVN. My name is Colin Denton, and I hope you enjoyed today's NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series action. We'll be back next week with more.